While San Diego rents and home prices are starting to come down, Zillow says this is currently the fifth least affordable region in the nation when it comes to buying, and seventh least affordable for renting compared to average income. That's bringing things to a boiling point for many middle-income workers.
Many feel like they may not ever be able to afford a home in San Diego, in the communities where they work.
Keisha
We're
Borden is a
seeing
director
many
at the
people
California Teachers
dedicated to
Association.
moving
The
out.
union leader represents educators across San Diego and Imperial counties. She says the lack of affordable housing is contributing to a teacher shortage.
And we're also seeing our families having to move as well. So we're seeing a decline in enrollment because families simply can't afford to live here.
So some local school districts are taking matters into their own hands by building more affordable homes on their land.
And if our school districts are able to provide some of that housing for their employees, I think all the better. Um, so hopefully this is something that can spread to other districts. And San Diego Unified was able to pass a bond in order to build housing.
There's a point in everyone's life where they would like to be a homeowner.
Mohammed Alamuddin is a policy associate at UC Berkeley's Turner Center for Housing Innovation. He says moderate income workers, like teachers, make up a significant portion of the population statewide, and they're having trouble affording to live where they work.
Number one, rents are too high, and this is what's leading to people leaving the state. And number two, homeownership's inaccessible.
Alamuddin says zoning is part of the issue. He says 70% of urban land in California is zoned for single-family housing, which makes the cost of living pricey. That's where workforce housing comes into play.
And it would be placed in a way where it's duplexes and triplexes or cottage clusters, basically a bunch of housing units surrounded around a court.
He says the smaller floor plans and denser construction in multifamily housing are what make renting and buying more affordable because they lower the land costs per unit. And middle-income housing doesn't all have to be new construction.
We could essentially take market rate multifamily housing projects and convert them to middle income projects.
Sean Rawson is co-founder of Waterford Property Company, which converts current properties through a combination of bonds and property tax exemptions. Rawson says the exemptions have caused some controversy over lost revenue for cities, but that the program works. Waterford has such a project underway with hundreds of units in Escondido.
We've lowered rents 18% across the board from where they were. What that translates into is that we have now about $800 a month monthly savings to our tenants.
The city of San Diego is offering incentives to build middle-income housing, but very few developers are taking them up on it. In 2021, they only built 19 middle-income units.
While we have produced thousands of low-income units, we've produced tens of thousands of luxury units. We've really provided just a couple dozen middle-income units, and that's the main challenge.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria says he established a middle-income housing working group in 2021, and they've helped create upcoming policy change. He says some workforce housing is starting to be built now.
What increasingly we're talking about are sizable units in multifamily developments, near transit and jobs. That is a difference for us, but without those kinds of units, we will never be able to solve this problem.
The housing crisis has been solved in the United States before, after World War II, and has been solved in multiple other countries. We have to look at the solutions that they're proposing and let that guide us, right? We don't reinvent the wheel, but we look at what works and we replicate it.
Gloria will bring a second housing action package to the city council in the coming weeks, with more incentives to build middle-income housing. Jacob Aere, KPBS News.